Good morning, everybody. I apologize for the delay in opening up the room this morning, but sometimes things are out of your control. Any meeting, it's the first time we've seen this glitch. Website wasn't up this morning for a while, and took a while to plug in. I merely typed away, awaiting that moment. So here we are. And again, this is just another example of something that you really desire and like is always missing every time you come in the morning to trade. It might be a piece of news that you're not comfortable with. It might be a market that's out of sync. You may have overslept. You may not feel well. There's no news to go read. So it's just the nature of the beast. There's always something missing. There's always something that makes you just a little bit uncomfortable putting on the first trades of the day. Today there is a lot of news, and we have the 7-year auction. So the dynamic that eventually is going to take hold is going to be the 7-year auction. And if this auction follows the other two, it'll be done at a higher price. Yesterday, auction took place, I believe, at 27.5. The auction before that was 22.5. So that makes 25 kind of the break-even auction price. So I'd look for the market to auction no lower than 25. Today's trading is pretty easy. I think when it's all said and done, the market will be higher today, so we're basically looking for a place to buy it. But we can sell failure to take out this 8 to 12 area. And that's probably the easiest trade to see. We've got a B pattern in the overnight session that suggests we'll be a little bit lower, and our first little band of supports right here at 3. So yesterday's the auction took place at 27.5, way down here. We broke it out at 30.5. K period low 31.5, L period low 27.005. So there ought to be pretty good support against the buck. So we're going to start out trying to buy 29s to 1s. And then the second buy will be 21 to 25. Now, having said that, the overnight session low is 3. And if you're going to lean against support, a resting limit buy order at 3.5 would put you right at the market's edge. And if we paint a 2, we're wrong. So how strong is the market? How will the buck hold up, etc.? My guess is we're probably going to find pretty good support at 127 even, plus or minus. Once the selling starts, you never know how deep it's going to go, but I don't think they can break the market. Now, there is lots of news today. Durable orders, minus 0.5. Transportation, plus 0.5. So this is going to be the market's focus right here. It's going to be the first piece of news that comes out. Jobless claims 286. That's kind of a default. I don't think anybody pays a lot of attention to it anymore. I mean, that number, well, we know what it's going to be next week, 285, plus or minus. So it's not getting the following that it did. Personal income up 0.4. The number they'll key off of is personal spending. It's great that you got extra income, but you got to go out and spend it. That's called up 0.3. So that's going to be the second news focus. Then we have core PCE. I've seen unchanged to plus 0.1. The financial meme is plus 0.1, so we'll go with that. Michigan sentiment at 90. That's usually a surrogate for the stock market. It's a very small sample, but it can cause a reaction. New home sales, 470. That's kind of a default number in this 450, 475 area. A bit the high end of its range. And pending home sales, at plus 0.6. Gotta sell that old house before you can buy the new one. And then crude inventories, plus 400,000 barrels. So we have a lot of news. So number 1 is going to be transportation. Number 2 is going to be personal spending. Number 3, Michigan sentiment. And number 4, new home sales. Okay, Jim, I'll pass that on to Peter, and we'll see what the problem is. Sorry for the inconvenience. Okay, so that's it for the note, but we do have a lot of news today, and then we have seasonals, and then we have the 7-year auction. So after the news is out of the way, the bias will turn to higher prices. I expect the market to slow down a bunch come noon, as those that can bail will. Okay, the situation is saying we have this breakout here at 22. We're at 143. We've got 29 right here. So I think we got a shot at 25s to 21s. That's where a little early weakness, a little bit of head fake, get everybody excited about the 7-year auction and take it the other way. But again, it may be 29s to get in. We'll just have to see how it plays. And a lot will be dependent upon the early news. And then selling failure to take out 6 to 12. And at that point, if we get through that, 19 to 23 we sell to. I just think the market will blow right through it. So got to start creating that holiday feeling. Everybody, the last 6 years, the stock market has been up. Nobody likes to go home with a losing position into a long holiday weekend. The markets, they tend to keep everybody in the game and keep them interested by obliging without having people fret over their portfolio in the holidays. Goldman Sachs' name is back in the news for manipulating gold prices and platinum and palladium prices for the last 8 years. It seems Goldman took inside information because they're also big, Jay Aaron, in the physical side, the cash side of it, and traded that to their benefit and set prices based on that. Now, Goldman wouldn't do that. We know that. You know, it's amazing. Goldman has their hands in everything, and every scandal, every bit of market manipulation and stuff, it has to start at Goldman. And I've lived through a couple of debacles created and engineered by Goldman where they've forced company out of it. I mean, they're ruthless, and it's all about the money. It's nothing else for those guys. And they'll do anything and everything to maintain the position. It takes a lot of money going to D.C., takes a lot of money going to politicians, takes a lot of support that way. That's how they keep the government off their back, and that's how they never admit guilt. They just pay fines. They probably make 2 to 10 times what they made. But so imagine manipulating prices, fixing prices for 8 years. How much money you made on that? Imagine what the size of that fine will be. I mean, campaign contributions, if you're paying it to the mafia to keep your doors open and to keep people off your back, would be called graft. Campaign contributions are a legalized form of graft. And the people that have instant access to politicians and people in government power are those that can write 6- and 7-figure checks at the drop of a hat. And they tend to get things going their way. On the manufacturing side, the biggest crony capitalist is General Electric. Boeing isn't too far behind. On the financial services side, it'd be Goldman and Citi. It'd be a toss-up between those two, but I'd vote for Goldman. So Goldman's name is back as a possible being sued by people in associations that had to buy platinum, palladium, and gold and stuff from HSBC and Goldman are the two names mentioned in the suits. HSBC is another one. Okay, we came in last night saying that this 93.95 area might hold. We're hoping to buy the 90 area. I don't see a lot of action in gold today. We wanted to sell 1200 at 1202. I think that's reasonable. It is resistance. Then 5 to 8, sell 2. On the downside, maybe stops below the overnight session low, so 90.92. May have to pay up, but try to buy it on the cheap to get started in our 85.87, which is a level that I think is really pretty solid. People pay 25 to 30% premiums to buy coins today. Normally, it's always been historically in about that 10% premium range. So there is great demand for gold and silver in the retail account, and it's going to be a part of their inheritance. It'll be passed on to the kids. Some point it'll be worth more than they paid for it, they think. But it'll never lose its value as a currency if the situation gets dire. Silver would be a better medium than gold because it comes in smaller price increments. Okay, looking at crude, down to OPEC. Most of the feeling on OPEC is that they're going to cut 300,000 barrels, but they're going to demand closer adherence to quotas. We left yesterday's market wanting to be buyers. We thought because it had been hit so hard, so 73.50 to 75 was our buy recommendation yesterday, and that was the trade. Our first sell recommendation was 73.50 to 75. We touched 74. Excuse me. 74.50 to 75. Excuse me, 25 to 50. That's where our sell recommendation is. So I'm going to raise it a little bit, 74, 75, 50 to 75. Most of the commentary out of OPEC is against shale oil production in the United States. So they get the benefit of whacking Iran and Russia, two of the Persian Gulf's biggest enemies, but they're trying to curtail crude oil production in the United States. Keep us dependent upon the Middle East. Keep all that money going to those bad boys. I mean, if you really wanted to make a strategic decision to minimize terrorism, to localize terrorism and keep it in the Middle East, you'd produce all the crude oil, all the petroleum liquids, all the natural gas that you could. And that would stop Russia's ability to cause trouble, and Russia is right up there next to Iran as a troublemaker. They always have been. If you look at all the woes that have been set up on the world, they came out of Russia and 2017. So they're still doing their work. And a little stability helps their causes. It keeps them in the game. It gives them import. They're a third world country with a first world nuclear deterrence or offensive weapons. Marked by corruption. And it's interesting to see all these oligarchs as they get peeled off and picked off by those that have a little bit more power at the time. And there's an old adage that never put a dollar into Russia that you can't afford to lose, and that still rings true today. They'll let you come in and develop, they'll do all the work, and then when it becomes productive, they'll take it from you. It's the way that that mindset works. Okay, the euro is higher. The talk is quantitative easing starting in the first quarter of 2015. So, I mean, rhetorically, they do a great job of holding the market up. The yen probably has more to do with the rally in the euro, weakness in the yen than anything else. You can see right up here that this 125 area is resistance. We left yesterday wanting to sell 24.90 to 125 even. Bingo in London. The market did trade down after that to 24.46. So it's a hell of a trade for those of you that are on London time. This market represents opportunity, especially after it's rallied in our day session. So that still looks reasonable to me. 90 to 125, sell one. Then 15 to 25 for sell two. Buy side's a bit problematic, but we're at 80 right now, so we're going to make 50 to 60, buy one. Going to lean against 50, and then we're going to make 25 to 35, buy two. Again, long term, it's a short because the EU is trying to take it lower. And rallies in our market, 50 to 75 tick rallies in our market, set up fabulous sells when London opens. Okay, for the last 6 years, the stock market has traded up into Christmas. I wonder why that is. Got to give the people something to hang on to. The stock market is up into Christmas. Good times are just around the corner. There's no reason to think that it's not going to happen again this year. So, like it or not, fundamentals aren't playing at all. It's strictly central bank support, and if things get bad, more central bank support. And the Fed is not doing outright purchases right now, but their balance sheet is still growing. How is that done? Well, it's done through repos, reverse repos. They've got a lot of ways to support the market. One of the other thing that does is simultaneously it takes treasuries off the market. It's part of the collateralization needed between large money center banks. So the Fed's not going to do anything to screw the pooch and send the stock market lower. They'll be prepared to step in and buy. So we're going to, again, the easiest trade in the book is going to be failure to take out and hold 73. So I think we'll have ourselves at worst case a trading range with pretty good support 60 to 65, and then really good resistance 73 to 75. So our sell is probably going to come in the 70 to 72 area. Volume is moving higher and holding those gains. So everything is still pointed up. So the 65 area plus or minus, so we buy one. It is very, very aggressive, but we've got to pay up usually to get in. Not always. Sometimes it sells off the opening. We've seen that like right here and right here. But the characteristic that has made it sell is that they've been very, very close to the high or at resistance. So right now you can see we're working towards support. So 65 plus or minus, then 60 plus or minus will be buy two, and then selling failure to take out 73 to 75, which again is the easiest trade. We'll review the news here in a second to put those numbers right fresh in your mind. And if we have an overnight session high of 72, 10 points takes us down to 62, 15 points takes us down to 57. So a 62 to 57 based on average ranges is pretty good. Should be really, really good support. Durable orders, X transportation, plus 0.5. Personal spending, plus 0.3. Michigan sentiment, 90. And then new home sales at 470. I think that's the news that'll move the market today. And the biggest numbers right here comes early. I don't think anybody pays any attention to jobless claims. Personal income gives you the ability to spend, but if you don't get enough personal income, then you can borrow. You can do it with credit cards. And those last two would be 3. So that's the way I see it. It'll take about 20 minutes to catch up and get everything done, given where I am in the process. I'll see you as soon as I can.